Welcome back. We are going to cover the member index page, which is basically generated by BuddyPress. So let's go look at the page. So this is what we're talking about. In last few videos, we covered the homepage, header, body, and the footer. And now we are going to target this athlete page. This is basically a BuddyPress template, and if we go all the way to the bottom, it does say page.php, but that's how BuddyPress handles its templating. But once we get into the coding detail, we're going to see a completely different story. And before we get deeper into it, I need to show what the default BuddyPress index look like. This is what pretty much a BuddyPress member template look like by default, and this is the profile, which we will cover in a later video. They have a whole bunch of tabs, and this is the default styling, but we're going to turn this into this with heavy customization. Before I get into this more important stuff like the member item and then these filters, I just want to quickly go over this sidebar and this listing here, which I actually covered before when I covered the home page, but just to quickly go over it, this is coming from this right here, the backend widget. And this backend widget is being generated by this WordPress Popular Post plugin, and I have the first one targeting the University CPT custom post type. The other one is Popular Post, and the details look like this. And that being said, a very important part of this template is this filtering system. Here we can choose, let's say, golf, and we can see male and female. So let's isolate the females, and we have committed versus available. So let's go with the committed ones. And also to narrow it down, we go with the verification status. Let's go find the verified. So it really digs down all the way in. The very complicated JavaScript logic behind it. And we can always reset the filter. And we don't stop just there. We have another advanced level of filtering going on here according to, let's say, specific sports. We choose golf here, and the base filters are still available, and we get to choose a very sports specific items here. For example, golf has handicap. We can go choose this, and let's say WARAGR, isolated, and then among here we can go swing hand. Let's say go with the left, and it isolates it for us. And we can always reset filter and go back. So all these are going to be covered in detail at the very down to code level in the upcoming videos. Now let's just focus on this item right here. There's a lot going on here. We're gonna go ahead and break it down into two parts. One is the backend data structuring, the plugin setups, what plugins being used, we're gonna go over, and then we're gonna target the front end, basically the styling and how these variables and such are being implemented. It's a lot going on. For example, these two are coming from Advanced Custom Field, or ACF, and this residency and then the class, these are coming from BuddyPress custom fields, and this profile view number, This is coming from another plugin that actually helps us calculate the profile view at the back end. So let's go check those out. Okay, so this is the project backend. At this point, we're going to look at the plugins that are helping to create this athlete index page. So of course, the BuddyPress plugin itself comes first. But then before I dig into the other ones, let's look at what this custom field pro ACF is doing to help us get these fields available, verified and available. To find that out, we have to go here, custom fields, and once we get here, this is the one that is being generated at the back end. And if we dig deeper into it, we come here and we find our actual fields, and these are the fields that are showing up in the user profile. So this is all our users here. As you can see, we have coaches and athletes, the two types of users. And once we dig into, let's say, focus on this athlete here, we go here in this athlete's profile, we go all the way to the bottom, and this is where we find the fields that ACF bringing in. And the way we are making them show up inside this profile is by telling it to do so according to athlete role. The user role is the athlete role. Now, to describe the role and the user types, let's say if we go back to this user backend, we see there's a role here, custom role, and then member type. Now, by default, BuddyPress does not offer either of these. So to explain these two, we have to look at two other plugins. Let's go take a look at that. Okay, so we're back at the plugins page, and this plugin right here, BuddyPress Member Type Pro, is helping us with this member type. And this plugin right here, User Role Editor, is helping us with creating these roles. So let's look at the first one, BuddyPress Member Types Pro. To find this one, we have to go under User and Member Types. Okay. Here we can see we created two different user types or member types, and we have shortcodes here that will help us generate the indexes, but that's not what we are using on our project. We're using these, the actual URLs. So let's go in there. Mainly, since we're talking about the athlete, let's focus on the athlete. Here we just mention the member type, and there's the labels here, and the directory slug, which is actually creates the link, which is here, up here, members, and then athlete type. So, and here, this is a tiny shortcode that actually lets us go to the certain profile page. If it is an athlete, it will go to the athlete's profile, or if it's a coach, it will go to the coach's profile. So that's a pretty handy one. And here, this is a setting that will be helpful for if you have the default setup, the default BuddyPress setup, which our project doesn't have, so we don't care about that. And here is the role, right? So we are making it part of subscriber and giving it a custom role, athlete. And just to quickly show how we are getting to that, we have to go user role editor, and plugin that generates this page is this one once again. user role editor, and right here pretty much what I did, I clicked on add role and I just made a copy of the subscriber and I named it athlete and the coach. So it reflects all the subscribers' credentials. For example, if we go here, we can see administrator, we have all the boxes checked, so it has all the permissions, but when we go back to athlete, it does have a few just like the subscriber. But we did have to create that custom one in order for us to use here, and a whole bunch of other places that we'll see later. So now let's go back to membership types. Okay, so these are also reflective on a default WordPress theme or default structure, but we customize it heavily, so we don't care for that. And one important thing to notice, if we go back, so for our purposes, we needed only the athlete to work like this here, right? But we did not want the coach's index to show up. So what we did, so inside coach, everything's pretty much looked the same, except we did not enable the directory. So what that does is if you go here and try to go manually to the coaches, we get a 404 because we are blocking it right here. So that's pretty much what these guys are doing from the back end. And now let's look at where we're getting these guys from, this country and the class.